booze and alcohol. So give it a call.
Drinky McDrickle drunk. I'm drinking McDrickle drunk. That's us. Drinky McDrickle drunk. What's up, McDrickle drunk? One time I'm drinking McDrickle drunk. Give it up, McDrickle drunk. That's my name, McDrickle drunk.
Doodle says this.
Just trying to get this figured
This
out
is all confirmed. This is
real quick. I figured I'd go live.
confirmed.
Sure everybody heard
Confirmed.
the news
Tim, Vinny Cash called me late last night.
that
He never calls me.
Ski Mask passed away
Multiple
this
DMs
week.
about it. And
Guy
know
that I
what
used to
happened.
podcast with.
The day after Father's Day, his father found him.
Trying to get this Chad stream up
Mike's shitty
right
internet
now.
provider. Thanks for the $2 as we continue to honor Ski Mask.
There we go. So
Grift off his passing. Why Ski Mask and not Stevie Loser? Wow. Oh shit.
I just wanted to clear up a few things that Chad said today, this morning. As you can see, Chad decided to go live this morning
Accept and express our pain. Whatever. This is the wrong show.
to try to just grift, just straight grift. What a ghoul.
We're not in a nice place.
What a deeply
This is a mean place. People stab you in the
disturbed,
back.
broken person we're dealing with here.
These aren't good people.
I get it. Was Ski Mask the greatest person in the world? Did he do some fucked up things? Has he caused some problems in my life? Yes. But am I going to sit here and do what this motherfucker is doing and straight up lie about situations that I am 100% fully aware of? I was there. I used to do a show called Sad Chad with Ski Mask and Jim Stansel. And we were there when Ski Mask and Chad were beefing online. And the fact that Chad is going to go on this morning and lay out a bunch of just complete bullshit lies and half-truths as some sort of way to vindicate himself the day that the news comes out that Ski Mask has passed away, this is the lowest thing I've ever seen anyone do. And now that he's attacking me because I'm calling him out and he wants to try to turn things on me, Chad, we knew that Chad is a scumbag. We know that Chad comes from a broken home and a very, very dark place. But the fact that he, as an adult, continues to live his life the way he does and just that's his fucking way of being is disturbing, scary, and something I can't stand and won't stand for whatsoever. So it's on full display here this morning. And if anybody had any questions whether Chad Zumock was a piece of shit scumbag who deserves every bad thing that's ever happened to him and every bad thing that's going to happen to him in his life, this is just the cherry on top. So I think he gets to it here. I just want to clear up a few quick things, and then I'll be on my way.
Oh my God, it's Thirsty Stevie Lou. Of course he has to get in on this.
Yeah, of course I had to get in because this is what he was saying. Let's go back to what he was trying to say. I super chatted in to tell him to shut the fuck up.
Nice world here. We're not in a nice place. Because of that, the Booker.
Okay, here we go.
And Ski Mask called the Bahamas.
Yes, Ski Mask called the Bahamas. Ski Mask did call the Bahamas. Ski Mask called the Bahamas. The reason why Ski Mask called the Bahamas, and this has all been widely documented. This was 100% documented on our Sad Chad shows. We saw the proof. Ski Mask went on fucking Dickhead Carl, Who Are These Podcast show, and posted the texts where Chad Zumock was threatening to dox Ski Mask's girlfriend and her job. He had gotten the picture of Ski Mask's girlfriend from when we all went to dumbass Ray DeVito's taping in Queens for his comedy special at whatever that shithole was that we all went to in Queens. Kevin Brennan was there. Bob Levy was there. They both did sets. Ski Mask and his girlfriend showed up. People took pictures. I believe it was Atticus Finch that took pictures. I don't know that for sure, but people took pictures of Ski Mask's girlfriend and they sent them to Chad. And Chad threatened to put the pictures out of Ski Mask's girlfriend and call her work. She is a school teacher. He was threatening to call her work over internet bullshit. So then Ski Mask decided to strike back and called the Bahamas. Okay? So Chad trying to make up that Chad claiming that Ski Mask just called the Bahamas out of the blue to fuck with him is a despicable, disgusting lie. Chad and Ski Mask were going at each other, and Chad, as he does, was the first one to take it to a place where he said, I'm gonna fucking dox your girlfriend and get her fired from her school teaching job. When that sort of stuff is said, all bets are off, Chad. And on top of that, everyone loved the fact, every fucking one loved the fact that the Bahamas got called and you got fucked with. And that you got fucking taken out and spoken to and sweated and probably cried. We all know that you're a crier, Chad, just like Gino. Little girls. So I just want to make sure that that is very specifically clear that Chad Zumach was 100% poking the bear and threatening to dox his girlfriend at the time, who had nothing to do with any of this, because that's Chad's move. He can't be funnier. He can't outwit you. He's got to go and try to get family involved. So he got his comeuppance. And then he cries about it. Still to this day, he cries about it. This fucking filthy bastard.
I was going to get her fired from her job. I was not going to. I never did.
Yeah, but you 100% did threaten to. Okay? See how he's trying to play it off like he didn't do anything? You 100% did. We have the texts. You were threatening. You threatened to fucking. What the hell was that? Paul Fens. You were threatening to go to CPS about Paul Fens' kids because of Ski Mask beef. You, Chad, 100% go and try to get real life people involved that have nothing to do with this and get them in trouble because that's your only kind of move.
But of course, he was drunk, and he called the casino, the club, and said I was not illegally in the country.
I was not illegally in the country. This fucking moron can't talk. Jesus Christ. No, all they said is that you had warrants, that you had some sort of criminal charge that you were facing, which is true, which was 100% true. Okay. If Ski Mask had done something so terrible, he would have got arrested for it, which never happened. Never happened. So he was just doing what a good citizen would do and informing another country that a criminal is in their midst. You are not just a criminal. You are one of the most despicable lowlifes I've ever come across. So please keep talking this shit about Ski Mask, a dead person, and me. Go ahead,
warrants.
Chad.
So the Bahama Police Department took it seriously, and they took me into the police station literally for 6 hours, questioning me, contacting.
I hope someone took advantage of Chad physically while he was in custody. I hope he was taken advantage of physically in custody without lube.
American authorities, and luckily I had all the paperwork in place, and I had people confirm it, and they let me go. But after 6 hours of being in a police station, but because of that, the booker at the Comedy Zone.
Yeah, the booker found out that you're a horrible person who steals credit cards, who has a criminal record, who's a fake comedian who just gloms off of other people that he's met and done favors for. The please clap man who has no fucking material and pulls scumbag maneuvers like stealing credit cards from a fucking gym and then using them to buy vodka, Twitter followers, and a nice little lunch for himself at Tim Hortons or wherever the fuck he went and was rude to the fucking waitress, as we all remember.
Because I drove them crazy. They weren't going to have a comedian, and they had to fly somebody down there. It was going to be a mess, so they just never booked me again.
Yeah, you're a problem, and you shouldn't be booked ever again. And I hope you're never booked again in your life. You don't deserve to be on a stage.
So fuck them, and that's what it is.
Yeah, bite that lip, idiot.
Is this supposed to be a ski mask eulogy about the Bahamas? They asked me in the chat to tell the story, and I did. I totally said I was going to tell you the story. And again, you can honor him by all the revenue I lost from him. And say whatever you want in a super chat.
Again, this guy, oh, I lost all this revenue. Motherfucker, you're acting like you were an innocent victim here. He's acting like he's an innocent victim. This is the problem with Chad, is that he can never take any personal responsibility. No accountability from Chad ever. It's always, I'm the victim here. Why would he do this? He took all this money away from me. Ski mask. You were involved in a flame war with a psycho. You two psychos were going at each other as hard as you could. And now you want to act like you're the fucking crybaby victim. This is the saddest, most fucking ballless loser shit that I've ever felt. Like, I normally don't go live like this, and I will check in with you guys. I'm ignoring the chats right now. I will jump in, and I'm not staying on long. I've got shit to do today, but I just saw this insane bullshit coming from this fucking absolute loser, and I had to jump on.
I honestly can't believe Ski Mask was a real human being. This is from Break. Alex Ortiz says, rest in hell, Ski Mask. Pain of the loss we must accept. This is not a nice world here. People stab you in the back. Oh my God, it's Thirsty Stevie Lewis. Chad, you're lying. You're threatening to dox his girlfriend.
Yeah.
I never did.
Yes, you did. We had the text.
I never did.
So this is the thing.
So,
there's an episode of Who Are These Podcasts where Ski Mask showed the texts. So we have the evidence. It's been shown. So you can't go back now and try to twist it to sound like you're the victim, Chad. We have the evidence. The internet is forever, and you're forever a clown, motherfucker. And any goodwill that Chad has built up over the past couple of months, I think, is completely wiped out now. We all remember and we recall what we're dealing with. We're not dealing with a human. We're dealing with a fucking scumbag.
I'm not lying. I never did.
Yeah, just like he never stole the vodka. He's never stole the sandwich. He never stole from Whole Foods. He never stole the credit cards. He never broke into that person's house. He never had a stalking charge. You know, he was just he's never done anything. Caught with his fucking hand in the cookie jar, but I didn't do it. We're all looking at a broken, abused child still. This is not a man. This is not a grown adult. This is a little boy. This was that little boy who was beaten by his stepfather for not bringing the coffee out and is just naturally lying about everything to cover up what he's done because he doesn't want to get the coffee beating again. This is like, I hate to go sorcerer on you, but this is exactly what we're seeing. And
that's the difference. You say things, but you don't do them.
Huh?
But go fuck yourself, Stevie. He's dead, so it doesn't matter.
Go fuck myself. All right, Chad. Keep that same energy, buddy. Let's just keep that same energy from now on. Man. All right.
He's no longer with us. Lady KB, 15 months of wow. Wow.
All right, let's go back here.
Everyone show their peace to a stranger today to honor Ski Mask. Rest
Flimsy
in peace, Kevin.
Greenberg says, R.I.P. Ski. What happened? I don't know. I have no.
You could also
no
call
info.
the drunk dial hotline to honor him, and I could play it on the next show.
Hello, little Lemmy. How you doing, darling?
What's that number?
Sure, you are not taking this well. I know that you were. Little Lemmy was potentially the biggest Ski Mask fan on this planet. I know that for a fact. That lady bled Ski Mask pink. As a matter of fact, Lemmy was the one who made our sad Chad, our Stevie and Ski. Sorry, it was Stevie and Ski after MLC. That was the logo that Lemmy put together for us, and she did it for free, and she did it gladly. And I think the only reason why she did it for free and gladly was because she was getting to do something for Ski Mask, who she loved. She loved his energy. I hope I'm not speaking for her out of turn here, but I know that she was always a fan of Ski Mask through thick and thin. So I am sure that Lemmy took this news difficultly today, and I definitely send my condolences to Lemmy, and let's try to get through this as best we can. I mean, I hate to say this, but this is not the most shocking news to ever have been received. Okay, I'm not trying to insult anybody here, but it's pretty obvious that this guy could have gone at any minute. And as a matter of fact, I've joked that he had died like as a bit more than once, because it's like the best jokes in life are the ones that are as close to reality. The closer you can get to the reality, but skew off and make it funny, the better the joke. The guy who just told all the Clippers to clip him, calling others attention seeking. Don't know what that means. Ross Dog, how did the interview go? It went all right. Michaela, what happened? Alcohol withdrawal? I don't know. Honestly, I lost touch with the guy. So, Chad outwitting anyone isn't real. Yeah. Tell us how, Josie Wells says, tell us how he died. Honestly, I don't know how he died. And if I did, it's not my place. It's not my place to say nothing. So, Michaela, Lemmy, both checking in. Tigger74 saying RIP to Ski. Will probably never see a head as square as his again. That boy had a square face. A lot of people claim that he was a Minecraft character, a character from the child's game Minecraft. I don't even know what that means necessarily, but that's what was said. Michaela, I didn't like Ski Mask, but I'm not feeling all this pile-on shit. Yeah, it's not a pile-on when it's just one asshole named Chad Zumock who has literally no spine, no soul. So, seriously, what happened? I don't know. Mickey is agreeing with Michaela. Deitois, didn't Ski Mask have a medical condition? Not that I know of, Michaela. Not that I knew of. I mean, he seemed like he had a medical condition, but I don't believe he actually had any sort of medical condition besides drinking, she says. All right. That's the kind of gallows humor that we're here for. See, now that's something. Tigger making the square face joke. Michaela being a little cheeky there. That's the kind of stuff that, listen, people deal with grief and people's passing in different ways. And I think it's fine to maybe take a little small shot like that. Okay, not going to repeat that. Flimsy says a lot of people don't know this, but Ski's head was the inspiration for the name of Neil Brennan's podcast Blocks. Okay, again, that's if I'm gonna make a call here, I'd say that's fair. That's fair. That's not one of those ones that's vodka. Yeah. Kid liked his vodka. Kayla says Stansel's probably crying like a baby. I mean, I don't another guy I don't speak to anymore after we had our issues. So I hate when they tell you how a guy died, but not how. Yeah, that happens, man. Death is not easy. And the way that a family wants to deal with that is up to them. It's not our place to say. It's not our business to say. So, yeah, Chad is such a good guy. We're doing it. Let's go back. Let's try to catch up a little more here. Chad showing his true colors. Affy enjoying the coffee beating. Problem is, you guys will just high five next meetup. That's not. You got me wrong, Steve S. You got me wrong. Not saying I'm gonna do anything because it's not my way of being anymore. But if you think I'm cool with this guy, if he's gonna take this opportunity to do what he's doing right now, if you think I'm gonna be cool with this guy, you don't know me, man. You definitely do not know me. And I think most people out there could understand that and where I'm coming from right now and where I will be coming from and sticking to this sort of thing. All right. So you can say what you want. I get it, man. But that's not the case. Little Lemmy says she loved him, man. And again, I send a my heart goes out to Lemmy and his family, his family and his close friends. As tough of a character as he could be sometimes, he was loved. So Michaela reaching out to Lemmy there. Yeah, I don't want to get into that at all. At all. Yeah, are we allowed to make fun of Chad's dead brother now? I mean, just because one guy wants to be a complete, utter scumbag, spineless scumbag, doesn't mean we all have to follow suit. And it could be a time for us to try to be better. This is how Chad deals with grief, being a scumbag. All right, let's get back to this fucking loser.
323-977-9642, 323-977-9642. I can't think of a perfect way to honor him than calling the drunk dial hotline since he died from booze and alcohol. So give it a call.
Drinky, McDrickle drunk. I'm drinking McDrickle drunk. That's what's drinky, McDrickle drunk. What's up, McDrickle drunk? One time I'm drinking McDrickle drunk. Give it up, McDrickle drunk.
Just picked up my phone. I see I missed a call from Aaron M. Holt. Probably calling me while he's on air. What a fucking moron. Yeah, Aaron, don't call me anymore when you're on air. I'm not playing that game anymore, man. I'll text you personally if I need to about this, but please don't start trying to use me for your content anymore. We ain't like that. And this isn't one of those situations, Just try to take a little bit of a better temperature before you start fucking doing dumb shit like that, please, man.
That's why I'm drinking McDrickle drunk.
Tim, Vinny Cash called me late last night. He never calls me. I got multiple DMs about it. and I found out what happened. It was the day after Father's Day. His father found him, his body. Mike's shitty internet.
The way he's being so cavalier and almost taking joy in that. Does anybody else see that? Am I the only one seeing the way that he wants to be just completely, like I said, cavalier and just let it roll off the cuff? He seemed to take joy in saying that his father found his body the day after Father's Day. Did anyone else pick up on that, or is it just me? And if you're picking up on that, what do you fucking think about that? You think Chad would let me go on his show right now? You're out of your mind. Yeah, it looks like this is real. Ciao. Chad's a loser at heart. He can't help it. No, I'm sorry. He can help this, and he's making a personal decision to do this. Okay? So I want to make sure, because he'll probably take this down as soon as this is over. So let's keep this for posterity here and make sure we all see.
The internet provider, thanks for the $2 as we continue to honor Ski Mask. As we grift off his passing. Why Ski Mask and not Stevie Loser? Wow.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Wow. These people.
All right. Did you just see how he like mouthed "oh shit" when he hit the "oh shit" button? Like, what kind of slack-jawed, mouth-breathing moron are we dealing with here? Where he's literally mouthing out the sound drops that he's doing. Let's just see that again. Did he?
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Did you see that? Watch closely. He says "oh shit" as he presses "oh shit."
Stevie Loser.
He presses the wrong one first.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Oh my God. There's just no brainwave here. All right. As upset as I am right now, watching a fucking absolute slow person do this is kind of funny. I'm not going to lie. It is kind of funny to see him. Let me see that one more time.
Stevie Loser. Wow.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Wow. These people are mean. Jeff Closer.
Where's the "oh shit" button? Where's the "oh
he
shit"?
really passed away. Yes.
Click.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
This is breaking news, everybody. I'm breaking the news. I'm the most credible news source out there. TM Zuma. Supertip.gg/Zman with voice chats. And we will leave this one out for free for his family, his brother, who was also an asshole to me. Let's not forget him sending his friend down here to fight me.
I want to make this point very clear as well. Chad is trying to say that Ski Mask sent his friend down to fight him. That is incorrect, and that is a gross misinterpretation and retelling of what happened. Chad's talking about Chuck Mangione. Chuck Mangione was a fan of MLC, one of Kevin's beautiful boys, friends of Stancil and Mead that used to come to Compound all the time, would be involved with the secret shows, and had a sister that Ski Mask was dating. Chad, this gentleman here, decided to make up a rumor that Ski Mask R-worded, the bad R-worded. Chad made up a rumor because he was fighting with Ski Mask that Ski Mask R-worded Chuck Mangione's sister. When Chad made up a story that Ski Mask R-worded Chuck Mangione's sister, Chuck Mangione said he's going to come down to Florida and beat Chad's ass. Now, Chad said, "I call your bluff. No way that's going to happen. You guys are all just a bunch of pussies." Well, what Chuck did was buy a plane ticket to Florida and post it online, the receipt. tagging Chad, telling him that he was coming to see him. What Chad then did was got Chuck's number, made a phone call, and cried on the phone and begged for forgiveness. Chad had realized that he had fucked around and was about to find out. Okay? So, this little story here that he just tried to fucking pass along, that Ski Mask tried to make his friend come down to beat him up, that is 100% a gross misrepresentation of the true facts. What I just told you was how that went down. I'll repeat it one more time. Let's actually let him talk a little more here.
What was that guy's name? Does anybody remember that guy's name? The guy who came to my house to fight me? His brother, I remember, put my phone number on Twitter and he got his account suspended. There's a lot of great things they did. A lot of great things.
Ski Mask put my phone number out on Twitter. He's done way worse on Twitter. But does that give me the authority to start pissing all over him? Body's not even cold yet, and I'm going to piss on him? No. Be a fucking human being, Chad, for once in your life. I wish someone could have spoke to you about this before you went live, because I can say what I want, but you're digging your own grave here, pal.
But we will honor his passing. This is how he would have wanted it. But we were almost close. Vinny Cash literally almost had us together. He says, "Come on, he's a good guy. You guys should do it." So I unblocked him on Twitter. And literally within 24 hours, he called me a faggot and a couple other things. So I was like, "Yeah, we're good." I never met the guy. But here's his YouTube page. In fact, let's go over here and look at it. I'm assuming Jim Stansel will take over this YouTube page.
Yeah, Chuck Mangione, the trumpet player from the 60s.
He hadn't recorded a show in a long time. When was the last time he did a show on his YouTube page?
Okay.
Oh, yeah. There's the
I think
Sad Chad show.
that's basically it. Excuse me one second. I actually have to take myself off. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking finish up here. This is yeah, sad day. Let's go full screen. Let's get this fucking chump out of here. Yep. This is tough day. I am just, anytime something like this happens, it's tough to process. I was looking through some old pictures, got some really good ones. I should post them. Try to think of some good memories that we've had. That beach dream was almost 2 years ago. It was like a year and 11 months ago, almost to the day. I was looking at that. We went up on that Connecticut beach in our Speedos and had a hell of a time. And that might have been the last time I saw him, now that I think about it. That may have been the last time I saw that dude physically in person. Kind of mind-blowing. But yeah, I wanted to make sure that two things were made clear, is that Chad was fighting with Ski Mask. So for Chad to act like he was just this innocent victim in all of this that was unjustly attacked, it just goes to show you that this is what this guy does. He can't be trusted for anything. Anything he says, it might as well just be taken as bullshit. So, Chad lied about the Bahamas situation. He was threatening to put his girlfriend's picture out. He had her name and where she worked and was trying to get that out and was threatening to release that information. He was trying to get her fired from her job. That's what he said he was trying to do. So Chad does this thing now that he was like, oh, I wasn't really meaning to do that. But yeah, you were threatening to do that. You were 100% threatening to do that. And that's what causes people to strike back, Chad. And I don't think that you get that. I don't think you've ever gotten that. And it's something that you've never learned. And eventually you're going to get taught that lesson that you can't forget. And I'm not saying that I'm the one that's going to do it, but you're the kind of guy that has gotten so many warning shots fired back at him that it seems to me that you need something that sticks a little harder, losing your YouTube, losing your Patreon, all that little shit. That's nothing, man. You seem like the kind of guy that needs to, like have a digit removed. And again, I'm not saying that I'm the guy to do that sort of thing. But in my mind, like, that's the way that you got to get taught a lesson. That's definitely the way that you got to get taught a lesson. Because I feel like if something like that happened, you wouldn't forget it, You wouldn't forget it. And then you'd be able to see, like, oh, yeah. Oh, right. That's right. I have been a piece of shit for most of my life. And I never learned from it until now. Because now it's, you ever try picking up a glass with just 4 fingers? It's not easy. You could do it. But it's not easy. So. How about some never before heard ski stories? Yeah, I mean, like, Roy, I hear you, buddy, and thank you, dude, for saying that. That is something that you do want to do, is tell stories. But like, honestly, I don't think that there's really anything out that I know that isn't out there, because the guy was pretty much broadcasting his entire life and never really held back. So I'll try to think, bud. I'll take some time to try to think, but I can't. Nothing's popping off to the top of my head right now that I was like withholding, because he's the kind of guy who was very, very forthcoming about his insane life. I mean, he had a crippling gambling addiction on top of the alcohol, I guess, if that's something, but that's not like a story. Him and Vinny Cash would spend thousands of dollars a day at some points playing poker and online slots together. They would like FaceTime and just waste all of Vinny's disposable income and have fun with it. They would drink and online gamble together, and it was just Vinny's money. And then they would share the winnings, but mostly lose. So I guess that's a little inside info. Yeah, I guess it would make sense if I did take my bag out and left you all with my bag. I mean, I'm kind of torn here. I don't know if I want to pull my bag out and get my channel taken away. But yeah, that's true. Quad can't pick up a cup. Jesus. Shades Cal, according to Patrick, Chad has the shake so bad he can't even eat his breakfast. I'm sure this will not be a wake up call for him. Yeah, that's true. That's true. We should try to get the girl that Chad stalked on our show. Yeah, KB, great point. And I guess I do have to give some acknowledgement to KB. It seems like a lot of people took this news as serious when Lady KB made her online post. When you hear news like Ski Mask passed away, a lot of people don't believe it at first. I probably took a second to process it and wasn't sure. But once you start to see that Lady KB is posting that sort of stuff, she does seem like a pretty verifiable source, trustworthy source. So I do have to give a shout out to Lady KB. I know she was, closely involved with this circle of folks for a long time. So I do have to give her a shout. Teddy says, hopefully Chad loses everything. This is seriously not cool. Yeah, Shades Cal dropping in saying, I love when Ski Mask got that king size bed. That was fantastic. Yeah, he was like really all about that. That was like probably one of his proudest moments in life, was getting a California king. Rick says Ski Mask lived the way he wanted to live. Can't fault him for that. Yeah. Now, if you want to talk about a guy who absolutely took his own liberties with life and law, then yeah, Ski Mask used to flaunt that very publicly. And there's not a lot of people you could say that about. So you got to take the good with the bad. He's the kind of guy who would show up with the Heineken keg can and say, I got a keg, pussies, and then be thrown off MLC immediately. He'd show up to a therapy session with a McChicken sandwich. It's commendable stuff. I will say that. Yeah. KB says, who else around here would show up naked on a podcast? No one. He was the best. Yeah, I do remember that when he just stripped nude and walked across camera while on BYB. I believe I was there for that. Stevie, will you be on MLC today? I can never say what's going to happen with that show. I have no influence over that show, really. So I would never want to try to make a call that I can't make, but I will try to make myself available this afternoon. I will hold my calls and see if I can move some stuff around. Um, I'll tell you this is a little insight. I'm not trying to go all Zumach here on you, but moments before I found out the news this morning, I like bent down to pick something up and threw my back out. Or not threw my back out, but strained something. So I kind of look like that's Ski Mask wherever he is right now, pulling one last prank on me. So I do got to give him credit for fucking my back up right now. So I won't be doing too much today. I don't think. Taking it easy. And if that's the case, I'll make myself free at 4 and I'll let the big man know. And yeah, maybe Chad will come on air too, and I can have a word with him. I would love to do that. But yeah, KB, I hear you. That's a difficult situation to be in, to have that sort of news and to know that it's the kind of news that people want to know, even as bad as it is. People do want to be made aware of that. And it's a difficult situation because I'm sure you don't know, you're not sure if this is your place to be the one to share it. It becomes probably a bit of an uncomfortable sort of situation, and I can understand how you can feel a little hesitant about having to um, break that news, but it needed to be broke. If I hear anything about any sort of arrangements or services, I will pass it along, of course. I'm sure we'll try to do something in his honor. It seems like that would be right, to figure out something appropriate to do for his bro, his dad, the family, even if it's not something like monetarily, some sort of gesture I feel would maybe be called for. I don't know. I'm not great with this sort of shit either, man. Death. Uh yeah, I guess Johnny Chopstick is saying I should call the Short King. I'm guessing that's Stancil. To be honest, I don't contact that guy no more, but I guess this would be a situation where I may want to check in. That is one thing you can say, that stuff like this will maybe have a positive influence on people who've maybe fallen out of favor, people who've fallen out of favor with each other. I've seen that happen in my own life before, when a friend of mine has passed, and then you're, at a wake or a service, and you see somebody that you maybe are squabbling with currently or have a beef with, and you're able to put the shit to the side for a second while you mourn, or you're there trying to mourn somebody. So there's that's a good point. That is a good point. Maybe I should, Johnny. Thank you, Johnny, for if that's what you mean by saying that. KB says I'm getting a fish fillet in his honor today. Yeah, that would be a good gesture right there. If everybody goes to McDonald's and orders a fish fillet and leaves a little mustard, a little mayonnaise on your chin, I feel like that's actually a great point, Kay. AP says Chad and Stevie on MLC today. I'm game. I'm sure as shit I'm game. That'll be ugly. That'll be ugly as fuck. So let's do it. Little Lemmy has a whole channel in her Discord filled with pictures and bits. So yeah, Lemmy, I'm sure everybody wants to see that. Like, honestly. So start posting some stuff. I'm sure the people would appreciate that. I mean that. I do mean that honestly. Yeah, it was a fish fillet. It was a fish lunch. Everybody go have a fish lunch. Oh, brother, Emmanuel, brother or sister, whoever you are, I will man the fuck up if I need to. TV's Will Heron checking in. Thank you, buddy. Shades Cal. Ski Mask was so honest about himself. He would say things I don't have the balls to admit to anyone and probably should. Yeah. Teddy says I don't know the dude, but I feel bad. Eastwood says, Chad was literally jumping for joy when he found out. Absolute piece of shit human garbage. Agreed. Just show him your cock for Ski Mask. Stevie, how far back do you go with Ski Mask? It's a great question, Teddy. So this would have been right before the pandemic. I want to say it was late 2019. I had just been invited back to the Eastside Dave show live in Compound at Compound Media. The Stevie Lou ban had been lifted after breaking the desk. I was banned from Compound Media. The ban lasted, I almost want to say 2, maybe 3 years. I don't recall exactly, but during that time, Eastside Dave had agreed with Roy Harder to attempt to get me to come back on the show, and they needed to get that okayed with, I think it was Keith the Cop at the time. Might have been E-Rock as well. But there was some sort of agreement that was made that if I was allowed back to Compound Media, any destruction to property would be insured by Roy Harder. So I have to give Roy a great shout out and a praise and thank you for putting his own money on the line for me to rejoin Compound Media. So when I came back to Eastside Dave show in late 2019, I was working with Bobby Tamburo, who had kind of taken over the producer role in my absence. And Bobby Tamburo one day said to me, he said, "Hey man, there's this show called the Ski Mask Collective, and you should go on." And I had never heard of these guys. I had kind of fallen out of the loop when it came to Compound while I was gone. And yeah, he said, "Yeah, these guys are really cool. They're doing this cool show on Zoom. You should jump on." So I remember my first episode, I believe I got Bobo to come on with us, and we had a good time. And that's where that all started. I want to say that was either late 2019 or early 2020, just before the pandemic. And then once the pandemic hit, we started doing more Zoom shows, started getting more involved with those guys. And then they did the secret show comedy shows, which I ended up performing on a couple of those. And we would hang out in person. So any way to get in touch with Cabana? I think he's on Twitter. Clay Dabbler, had I met Ski Mask Stevie? Yeah, Clay, I guess you missed the whole famous beach stream that we did in person. We streamed live in person, but besides that, I had probably hung out with the guy 10, 15, maybe 20 times in my lifetime. He would come down to Compound Media every once in a while. I remember there was one time where for In Hot Water, we had made, it was crazy. We had done this whole big thing where Ski Mask had announced that he was going to go into Compound Media the next day. We had been on Ski Mask, Stevie and Ski or something like that. Ski Mask said, "I'm taking the train in to go down to Compound to go to In Hot Water." So I'm working and I watch In Hot Water and I look on my phone and I'm seeing the broadcast and Ski Mask is passed out on the green room couch while In Hot Water is going on, like completely passed out. It's like 1:30 in the afternoon. He's plastered. He's blacked out, drunk, sleeping on the couch. So I was close to compound. I literally got a Red Bull and a water from a corner store, and went into compound and just immediately went in and woke him up and like splashed water on his face, gave him a Red Bull, made him chug some water, and like got him awake, and like was able to get him up, and he finished the end of In Hot Water, still completely out of it and all that, but at least he wasn't making complete ass of himself. And I remember like he was talking up that appearance tremendously. He was talking about how he was going to go make a big stink and promote our Stevie and Ski after MLC, and then instead of that, he got plastered on the train. And by the time he made it to compound, he was sleeping. So I do remember going in and waking him up and like straightening him out, and like getting him on air. And that was a very fond memory. But yeah, we hung out together at Ray DeVito's taping, famously in Queens that one time, at the secret shows a couple times. Went up to his house, went to his fucking house, went to his apartment. So yeah, we hung out a couple times. Yeah, Chow, if I hear anything, I'll DM you or I'll post it. Yeah, in lieu of flowers, send money and Tito's to Chad. Yeah, it's moments like these you could tell who the heathens are. Yeah, Clay, I agree, buddy. Death is bigger than the Dabbleverse nonsense. And I know I was chipping you the other day online, and I'm not gonna sit here and keep that sort of shit up right now. This is not the time for it. Casey Armstrong's hairline. You were always good to Ski Mask, Lou. Sorry for your loss, bro. Wish y'all could have patched things up before he passed. Yeah, yeah, Casey. I'm not gonna lie, man. It doesn't feel great to think that that is just the way it's gonna have to be now. Is that me and the guy had a falling out and we never patched things up. Never will be able to. It's not easy to it's not an easy pill to swallow. You know. Part of me also thinks that maybe that there was more I could have tried to do to try to help the guy out. And who knows? Who knows if that's right or wrong? But yeah, it's a good point, man. That makes me think that, you should try to keep that in mind, that it's better off to try to make amends with people than to hold grudges at the end of the day, because you could lose them, especially family and friends. Strangers in the Dabbleverse, I get it. Could give a fuck less for the most part, but if people truly are your family or friends, you should try to bury some hatchets and make good before it's too late. Yeah, that's good way to put that, man. Teddy says, I remember when KB and Bob were yelling at each other and Ski Mask was looking back and forth with his eyes. He had to take over. Good, good times. He was shameless. You wouldn't be able to waterboard half the shit he said out of me. Yeah. Dr. Chow said he spoke to Ski Mask a couple days ago. He said wished him well.